Hello, I'm Edwin Morales, and I'm here to talk to you about performance management. Performance management is one of the key ways any department connects with human resources. While the goal of any manager is to recruit, train, and hire the best team possible, it is a mark of a good manager when they are able to not only attain that team, but keep it consistently successful. Performance management, simply put, is the way we maintain an effective and successful team in the business world. By the end of this presentation, you should have a basic understanding of how performance management works, its different elements, and how to implement some of its key components. Of course, we'll want to start with the question, what is performance management? Performance management is a process that creates a work environment where people can do their best in helping an organization meet its goals. Parallel to performance management is performance evaluation, which we also know as performance appraisals, or more commonly, a performance review. Evaluations are a way of documenting the performance management process. The presentation will discuss performance management with multiple references to how performance evaluation fits into this cycle. As I mentioned in the previous slide, performance management is a cycle. We begin the cycle with goals to align with the higher level goals of the organization. Behavioral expectations are then set to align with those goals. Throughout the evaluation period, be it annually, biannually, or quarterly, management is constantly following up with their teams to provide feedback. This can be in the form of coaching conversations, documented conversations, or mid-year check-ins, or mid-performance review cycle check-ins. At the end of each cycle, the manager appraises their team members' performance individually, and a formal review is performed. Human resources is then utilized to deal with the consequences of an employee's performance. This could be a raise or a promotion, or conversely, disciplinary action or termination. In the end, we start it all over again and begin setting goals for the next review cycle. Now that we've talked about the performance review cycle, let's talk about the purpose of performance management. Obviously, we want to perform to the best of our potential, but let's get a little more into detail. A well-put-together performance management system will ultimately help a company perform to the best of its potential. Studies have shown that organizations with established, strong performance management systems are up to 50% more likely to outperform their industry competitors. Administratively, a performance management program provides the information needed when supporting most human resources-related tasks, such as promotions, raises, transfers, terminations, or any other major decisions, without putting the organization at legal risk. For example, if you are in a retail environment and need to terminate an employee for poor attendance, your human resources department will expect you to be able to provide them with administrative documentation of incidents of unreliability. Performance management systems are also useful tools in development, allowing a manager to coach their team members based on documented performance evaluations. Another more positive example is that, say you work in a call center and want to promote a customer service representative to a management position. You will need to provide documentation of their successes to your manager and human resources to prove that this employee is receiving their promotion because of quality performance and not nepotism or favoritism. So now we've covered the definitions of performance management, the fact that performance management is really a cycle, purposes of performance management, and now we're going to go over some of the elements of performance standards. Performance standards are based on an employee's job description and expectation. For instance, if someone is a software engineer, their performance standards are going to be based on their engineering skills. While some companies do use a broad brush approach, i.e., telling everyone that they need to work with a certain level of efficiency, but it goes across every department, such as human resources, engineering, and marketing. It's more beneficial for employees that their performance standards be job-specific to better measure their performance. There's four elements of performance standard. The first is strategic relevance. This is asking yourself, how are the standards that you're writing into a person's job description relevant to the overall goals of the organization? Criterion deficiency is the second step, or the second element, and that is the overall performance of an employee when everything is put together. This is kind of like your final step in a review where you give someone their overall rating. Criterion contamination is things outside of an employee's control that can affect performance, and things outside the norm. A great example is if you have someone who is in sales and they've been working on a project, but the client backed out because their company went under. That's out of the employee's control and generally shouldn't be put into their employee review. Or if an employee is having a bad day and has a single incident of poor performance that was completely outside of their normal level of performance. Generally, that is not included in a performance review. Finally, is reliability. Reliability is really looking at consistency. Like I said in the previous step, making sure that something someone does one time is not added into the review. But really looking at everything, ensuring the employee's overall performance is similar to what they're doing in all their mid-cycle evaluations. Now it's time to talk about different types of appraisals. The first type is a manager or supervisorial evaluation. These are the most common kinds of evaluations, where a direct supervisor or manager reviews those directly under them. The second type is a self-evaluation. This is exactly what it says. This is an opportunity for an employee to look back on their work and input into their evaluation what they think their successes and opportunities were. A subordinate evaluation is very important for managers. This is the opportunity for their teams to offer feedback. Generally, a subordinate evaluation is handed to their manager's superior and is included in their manager's evaluation. Peer evaluations are when team members are evaluating each other. They have an opportunity to bring up feedback, praise, and opportunities that the manager may not have directly seen. The manager can then incorporate that information into their review of an employee. Team evaluations. This is where an entire team is rated on their performance. This can be a little tricky because one employee's poor performance could easily bring down the entire team's performance rating. Customer evaluations. In some organizations, this is the most important evaluation there is. A customer evaluation is a customer or client's opportunity to assess how a team member performs their project for that client or customer. In sales and customer service jobs, these evaluations can be more important than the overall performance evaluation. Finally, we have the 360 evaluation. A 360 evaluation combines some or all of the appraisal types listed above. It is a comprehensive performance review that is usually given to middle and upper level management. Something that comes off the performance review cycle is when performance is needed to be improved. Performance is a sum of many different parts within an employee's personality, work habits, communication skills, and job skills, as well as the outside factors of training and adequate coaching. If an employee is not performing to standard, it is important that the first step a manager takes is to find out what is causing the performance issue. If the performance issue is caused by something such as training, internal communication errors from the company, that needs to be addressed from above immediately to help the employee improve their performance. If the performance issue is the responsibility of the employee, then action steps must be taken to ensure performance improves. Once you have diagnosed if the employee's issues are their own, it's time to manage their ineffective performance. Sometimes the solution is simply transferring them to another team or department. Sometimes it's simply coaching that could help them develop into their position, or sometimes it's coaching that could lead to a step down or termination if improvement is not made. An effective manager will concentrate on performance and behavior specifically and refrain from focusing on the team member's personality or character, as those are not something it is our responsibility to change. Performance management is an important link between management and human resources. Human resources ensures that company policies and labor laws are followed while supporting both managers and employees through the performance management cycle. Utilize these above steps that I've gone over when creating a performance management system within your own human resources organization. And remember to ensure that these steps are interpreted in a way that is supportive to your organization's goals and mission. Thank you for enjoying this presentation.
Link between